swinging and the jingling through a day. Johnny Paulson's a lad to keep ye gay. He's completely tireless, so tune in your wireless to swing on Radio Caithness. Well, hello there. Hello, good morning. Good morning and welcome back to Radio Caithness. This is your swinging, fun-loving desk jockey, Johnny Paulson, bringing ye all at the very best in radio entertainment across the hills and moors of Caithness. Now, following a government green paper on broadcasting, we've had to come up with brand new frequencies, and we're now on 809.6 megacycles, 504.9 attocycles, and one bicycle, which is ridden rather precariously by our engineer, Big Chalk Budge. Now, Chalk has been unable to speak since judging a rhubarb and ginger jam competition. Too near a Cullycudden WRI on a Black Isle. Chalk has this message for the lady who had the entry with a longest mould on the top of a char. Mrs. McSporan, your mould was 1 3/4 inches long and was actually putting a bit of pressure on a lead. Chalk says it looked like it paled off a rodent from a cold country. He says a few more like yours and he could have had a balaclava out of it. His message tell you is this, Mrs. McSporan, when you're making a rhubarb and ginger jam, a rhubarb is the main ingredient and no a ginger. He showed me his adenoids today. Well, they were just right, rah. He's announced he's gone on strike. Chalk is refusing to judge any more bakery and cookery competitions because he says he's either running, bound, or speechless. But now it's time to go away across to Radio Betty Hill in Sutherland for a local news headlines. I'm Sean Angus Mackay. Radio Betty Hill. Hello, good morning. Good morning and welcome to Radio Betty Hill. John Angus Mackay reporting from here in the far north in Sutherland. Well, here are the local news headlines. North poachers Sinclair Fraser who hid for 3 hours inside his deep freeze from the police, has been offered immunity from prosecution if he confirms that when the lid shuts, the light goes out. Doctors were called yesterday to the Durness Games after allegations that the heavy athletes have been taking the steroids. When examined, none had steroids, but the 3 had adenoids, 4 had polaroids, and they all had hemorrhoids. The new road widening scheme between the villages of Hope and Little Hope in Sutherland has been shelved because the road leading to the road to be widened is too narrow for the road widening vehicles. A spokesman for Highland Regional Council said that because of a lack of funds, there is now little hope of widening the road to Hope. In fact, the whole situation was hopeless. A crisis was averted on the Struy Road yesterday when 4 county roadmen turned up for work to find they had no shackles with them in the van. When they telephoned the depot, the quick-thinking foreman said, "Don't panic, boys, just lean on one another till I get there." The Nuclear Authority, NIREX, has merged with Playtex. To produce the new slimming foundation garment, the Griddle Girdle, guaranteed to give a completely new meaning to the nuclear waste. North Crofter Hamish Cameron, who was Mag Donny's saga coach trip to the Highland Show, is back home safely. He says he only got his wallet, which contained his sheep dipping papers and his communion card. He added it was a damn good job they didn't take his plus fours, as he always lines them with tenors to stop the tweed chaffing his legs. Well, that's all the news here at Radio Betty Hill this morning, and now it's back to Radio Caithness and Johnny for a commercial break. Are ye feeling kinda low? Have ye lost the well to go? What ye need is Mrs. Maisie Gunn's Rose Hep Syrup. Literally hundreds of uses round the home and croft. This delightful homemade syrup is now widely available at the health food counters of most good sub-post offices throughout the Highlands. It's ideal for nurse and mothers, Island a binder, collie dogs in pop, hell shepherds coming off a drink, tired tops, and slip-on fan belts. And in a unique process, till retaining natural country goodness, Maisie's heps are robbed and pressed by hand. And then the juice is left till mature in a sheep dipping tank, and then it's packed in attractive 5-gallon drums and sold under the brand name of Mrs. Maisie Gunn's Rose Hep Syrup. So if you're feeling kinda low, and you've lost the will to go, and your bruiser belt is slipping, and your sheep are needing dipping, then think o' all the goodness that's packed in Maisie's heps, and take a suck o' syrup, heads better than the nets. Yes, and now it's away through to Radio Achnagat in Aberdeenshire for some more local news headlines. Our year Sunday Cowie. Oh, may say I. Fairly and welcome to Radio Achnagat this morning. Sunday Cowie, chopping and keeping on here through the day on swinging Radio Achnagat. And just a couple of local news headlines here. Reports that the RAF from Lothimouth have been flying far too low over Buchan have been confirmed when local Fairmare Colin Campbell complained that one pilot left the gate open. Following trouble amongst the raspberry pickers, Enterprise and Fairmare Colin Campbell has come up with a brand new line in Pick Your Own. It's called Pick Your Own Fecht. I'd have a wee bit song spinning on the turntable for you. Brand new song written and sung in this recording by a failed youth opportunity neat poet. Colin Campbell. Colin was fired for firing the neeps our hard into the kert, and they were going racht out over the other side and hitting a boss on the head. He says he never caned, as it sounded awful like neep hitting neep. The wee song is set in Bombshire and it's called Kilbuddy's Bonnie Quine.
There was something awful fine about Kilbuddy's Bonnie Quine that made my heart stand still when I saw her on the hill, with her loving, laughing gaze, how she cheered the Bombshire braes. There was something awful fine about Kilbuddy's Bonnie Quine. There was something about the quine that was very hard to define. There was something in her eyes that surely tells me lies. There was something in her face I can only think was grace. There was something of a fine about Kilpaddy's bonny quine. 'Twas the way she helped her dad to work the canny craft. 'Twas the way she caught the kye, her voice in evening soft. 'Twas the way she took my hand, led me o'er the rugged land. There was something awfu' fine about Kilpaddy's bonny quine. Oh, and when she went to war, sure it broke my heart in twa. But I could think no ill, I just swallowed the bitter pill. And no matter how I tried, all the anger in me died. There was something awfu' fine about Kilpaddy's bonny quine. Though she was so briefly mine, how I loved Kilpaddy's quine. And we tasted summer wine mongst the wild mountain pine. And though my heart is sair, all the memories are rare. There was something awfu' fine about Kilpaddy's bonny quine. Sometimes new in summertime, I think I see Kilpaddy's quine. Her voice comes o'er the braes, her laughing, loving gaze. And though she's gone since years, oh, there's never been nae tears. There was something awfu' fine about Kilpaddy's bonny quine. There was something awfu' fine about Kilpaddy's bonny quine that made my heart stand still when I saw her on the hill. With her loving, laughing gaze, how she cheered the Banshire braes. There was something awfu' fine about Kilpaddy's bonny quine. There was something awfu' fine about Kilpaddy's bonny quine.
Oh, mercy, I knew it's a while back to Radio Keithless. And Johnny, are you there, John? Well, yes, welcome back here to Radio Keithless. And now it's time for a holiday programme, which this week takes the form of your letters, following a Radio Keithless programme last month on sunny Spain, and I believe some of you actually went. Well, I have a letter here from a crofter Chile who tells me he's just back over the Ord, he's just back home. He's had a number of experiences which he thinks might be of benefit to others intending to go. So here is the crofter Chile's letter. Dear Johnny Poulson, I am a bachelor crofter of some 64 summers. I have now really been away from a croft much in 40 years, apart from an outing to a funeral in Dingwall in 1958. After hearing your programme on sunny Spain and discussing the subject at some length with the artificial inseminator, who has been to Tenerife, not in the course of his duties, I hasten to add, I decided literally to take a bull by the horns and book. I got a very reasonable package from Aberdeen till Torremolinos del Mar, and I managed to bribe my neighbour with drink. That's him, Black Chalk from Blensery. He's no really black, he's just most hell of a dirty. I managed to bribe him with drink till feed my dog Tweed, keep an eye on the ewes and milk a cow Bessie, and I was away south on a chauffeur-driven fish lorry, courtesy of Stevens a week. The aeroplane was a new experience for me, and I was very apprehensive, so to keep in with the air crew, I presented the stewardess with 24 duck eggs and a neep. Which I had brought south as a gesture of good faith. Well, Elasigi was speechless with emotion. Or maybe it was a fact I'd forgotten to take a ground off a neep. A take-off was very frightening and far worse than my only previous flying experience, a swing boat at a county show. But they were soon ruined with a trolley full of miniatures, and after a while I felt as if I could have flown the rest of the way without a plane. A stewardess who I gave the eggs till took a shine to me, and she shoved into my top pocket a present of a beach balloon and a ballpoint pen, courtesy of the airline. She was laughing, and she whispered tell me that she had hung a neep up in a cab at the front, and it now looked as if there was three of them flying a plane. When we disembarked at Malaga, a heat was unbelievable. It was then I realised that my Harris tweed plus fur suit was going to be a bit of a burden. A Spanish customs let the entire plane load through, except me. It was the plus fur trousers that attracted their attention. Apparently they'd never seen up here before, and they accused me of trying to smuggle in 500 weight of grass. In each leg. Well, I was wild at them. I told them I'd seen from the plane that their country was parched on barrow grass, and how 2 legfuls of hay was from Caithness was going to put them up or down. I really didn't ken. But then some chill told me that grass was some kind of a drug. I must try grazing with the ewes sometime. Be a damn sight cheaper than whiskey. Anyway, I was ordered to strip, and I felt a right Charlie standing here in my deerstalker and combinations as they rummaged through my trousers. All they found was 3 pan drops, a distributor cap for a Ferguson tractor, and an undertaker's card directing me to cord number 8 at the funeral in Dingwall. She shows you off in a weird suit. I was delighted with them for finding them, and I thanked them for finding a distributor cap, because Black Chalk's Fergie has been lying on a tan of hell for about 5 years with a load of pikes on her. The hotel was very grand, except the food worried me a bit. There was an awful young crowd staying, some sort of 1825 club from London, and they reckoned my travel agent had booked me on a wrong holiday. But they were very nice to me and invited me to join them on the beach. One of them gave me a pair of shorts, and I was soon sunbathing with the rest. They all went topless, but being a modest kind of a chilly, I kept on my bonnet. They were all clarking their bodies with various expensive concoctions. But after hearing on your programme about the dangers of the sun, I had packed a king-size tube of excellent udder cream that I had got from a vet. It's made by a firm in Cowdenbeath, and it's called Mama Chale. Well, when the young crowd saw this, they were all rolling about in the sand laughing at me. But I soon told them how a Mama Chale had cured the hacks on my very own Bessie's teats last summer. But then I had a hell of a job explaining who Bessie was. Why she wasn't on holiday with me, and why she had foul teats. They invented this beach game where volunteers were buried up till their necks in the sand. And the person who stayed the longest won a valuable bottle of wine. Well, I won this, no bother at all, because I stayed here for 3 days and three nights. Well, a young crowd were good company through a day and brought me sustenance, but the nights were long and lonely, and because my arms were buried, I had an awful job with the Spanish dogs. I got a bit of a disappointment when I was released. With the pressure of the sand on my top pocket, my ballpoint pen had pierced my beach balloon. But I'm going to sort it as soon as I can find my bicycle kit. I had a devil of a job with food, having been reared on hell mutton, clap shot and brose. The only thing I could eat in the hotel with any safety was loaf and jam. However, one night in a hotel bar, after a particularly big fella drink, the young crowd persuaded me to eat 24 Mediterranean oysters. They told me that this would revolutionize my entire life. Well, it certainly did that, all right, but no in the way they meant. And the only thing that stiffened was my resolve. To get my own back. And that I certainly did that very night. The bathroom was at a far end of a concrete corridor, past all their bedrooms, and as I ran back and forth through the night, I wore my heavy hell brogues. By hogs of Fife. That's the ones with 154 tackets in each. And one with a slack heel plate. So they never got any sleep either. A wee word of criticism here. In your holiday programme, you did not elaborate enough on the problems of changing a currency. I had taken a handful of old Clydesdale Bank fivers with me that I'd hidden in a sock since 35 years from a taxman. They're about 2 feet square, with huge drawings of Robbie Burns and Ramsay MacDonald and mice on them. Well, when I shoved them through a hatch till a chilly in a Bureau d'Exchange, he screwed up his electric fan on his face and shoved them right back, and he wouldn't accept them as legal tender. Then I tried him with my Department of Agriculture pay slip for the Hell Coup subsidy for Bessie. Well, he was very impressed with this, especially by the words HM Government Treasury and signed by the Chief Cashier. He asked me if I was in the SAS. I told him I wasn't in the Sutherland Association of Shepherds. But I was in a Caithness branch. My final wee word of criticism here, some of my luggage went missing on a road home. My Cooperative Society carrier bag with my reading material and my nightgown, I believe went till Moscow. What the Russians will make go a Crofton Times and the Damart catalogue, I really don't know. Certainly the thermal underwear catalogue might come in handy, tell them, for ease in a cold war. My other piece of luggage, my army kit bag from my days in the LDV in Caithness during a war. That's a Look, Duck and Vanish Brigade. Head got caught up, head got jammed in the carousel, in the luggage carousel at Aberdeen Airport and finally disintegrated. The tube of buttercream got stuck under a roller and fired intermittently at the assembled gathering, who got wild at me. But I told them just to rub it in and they'd look 5 years younger. My big earthenware hot water bottle fell onto the ground and broke, and 4.5 gallons of 5-star brandy leaked out onto the concrete. This caused me a certain amount of embarrassment, as I had just breezed through the Green Channel with a friendly wifey from Tory. In summing up, I would advise your listeners to take a Hell Coup subsidy and a rubber hot water bottle. Yours, hasta la vista, Hector Sinclair. P.S. Black Chalk was absolutely delighted with the present which I said I'd bought for him in Spain, El Distributor Cap. Yes, and we have a wee song I span it on a turntable for you. Song on this recording by a failed white line painter with the Highland Regional Council, Colin Campbell. Colin was fired after only 3 days in a job because his work kept getting less and less. The first day he did 3 mile, the second day 2 mile, the third day only 100 yards, and his rather feeble excuse to the foreman was the fact he had to keep going back till he paint pot. The wee song is called Caithness and You.
Trying hard to pretend I'm there by your side, trying hard till imagine I'm home. But the dreams don't come true, and I'm sad and blue, far away from Caithness and you. Dear sweetheart of mine, the misty moors of time have taken me further from you. Sweet love of my youth, how you spoke the truth when you said I'd leave Caithness and you. Will it aye be the same by the peat fire flame? Will the sound of the penton still echo your name? And far o'er the moors, those grey eyes of yours call me back to Caithness and you. Now it's far too late, and time shut the gate on the land and the girl of my youth. But the story remains in this sad refrain of my love for Caithness and you. Trying hard to pretend I'm there by your side, trying hard till imagine I'm home. But the dreams don't come true, and I'm sad and blue, far away from Caithness and you, far away from Caithness and you.
Yes, and welcome back to Radio Caithness. And now it's time for a final of a Radio Caithness phone-in quiz. And on the other end of the line should be the delightful lady who has won through all these weeks of a competition, 88-year-old Miss Bessie Budge of Chonnagroats. Hello, Bessie. Hello, Bessie. Hello, Johnny. Now, Bessie, as you know, and I mean it, I'm going to have to ask you whether you're going to accept the prizes you've already won, or whether you're going to gamble a lot and answer one question and go for a big one where star prize. Do you understand, Bessie? Yes, Johnny. Perfectly. Okay, Bessie, let's recap on what you've already won in all these weeks of a competition. You won a Radio Caithness t-shirt, 2 ounces of bogey roll, a half bottle, a set of plugs for a grey Ferguson tractor, a weekend for one at Cape Wrath, in November, complete with return fare by a luxury mail bus. All this is yours, Bessie, to take home, or you could try and answer the one question and go for the big one where star prize a car. What do you say, Bessie? Oh, Johnny, I'm going for a car. Well, what a sport you are. Well, you're a race sport you are at last again. Now, so, we're all rooting for you here at Radio Caithness. Now, here is the all-important question, Bessie. Just take your time. In a light of Chernobyl, and with Doonray on our doorstep, what is the main advantage of a nuclear power to the Highlands? Oh, Johnny, I'm no sure. Go on, Bessie, have a stab at it. Let me see if I can help you a bit here. Just imagine, Bessie, if ye had a nuclear reactor in your house here at Groats. What would be its main advantage, tell ye? Oh, Johnny, what I think now? Well, I suppose head would burn cleaner than Pete's. Absolutely correct, Bessie. Ye have won our star prize, a car, a Sinclair C5. We'll deliver it the first day there's a tailwind. Keep trying, Bessie. Good luck till ye. Now it's time for a commercial break. Already? Farmers, crofters and fishermen, is your long chawns cold, drab and draughty? What ye need is Glamart. Glamart is a specially designed range of winter underwear with your behind in mind. Who writes them? They're beautiful, aren't they? The Glamart range of long chawns, combinations and semites comes in a range of exciting modern colours, grey and khaki. No longer need your loved ones cringe with fright when ye strap off for your bed. A range of balaclavas and mufflers are available in matching shades. And hot off the assembly line, a new 2-in-1 slipper. Both your feet snug inside one big tartan slipper. Ideal for answering a phone. So farmers and crofters who want to be smart, throw away your old drawers and pull on Glamart. Though at work or at play, or just go on Telemart, you'll be suave and debonair when we're on Glamart. Yes, and now it's time to go out and about with our roving reporter, Rodney Duffer-Duffington, in his series Diane Folk Arts and Traditions of the Highlands. Now, you'll mind that last week Rodney interviewed 88-year-old Isaac Mp3, whose business selling bunches of white heather at a new roundabout at the end of a Keswick Bridge. Seems to be on a way out, as he keeps getting a dizzy spells. Well, this week Rodney meets a Black Isle crofter with a very unusual Diane folk art. But let's go live now, Telly Black Isle and Rodney Duffer-Duffington. Well, hello, listeners. Hello, and... You've met him too, obviously. Well, hello, and welcome to the Black Isle. Now, I'm on a croft here near Kilbokey, and with me is the crofter, Hamish Stewart. Hello, Hamish. Aye, aye. Could you hang on a minute? I've got a drip on my nose. Sorry, madam. That's better. Now, what can I do for ya? Well, now, Hamish, your neighbours tell me you have a very unusual dying folk art. Could you tell the listeners a little bit about it? Aye, all right, but it's not really dying out, because I'm doing my very best to keep it living. You see, it's like this. All my life I've tried to avoid paying excise duty. Oh, but surely you can't call avoiding excise duty a folk art. And you can please yourself. The folk round here certainly would. Now, Now, you see, it's dying out. Was it very much alive at one time? Aye, there was a good packle of them at it, but some of them got caught and the rest got feared. It's just me and Sandy left. Now, how do you go about keeping this unusual folk art alive? Well, for instance, take my old Land Rover there. I've been running that vehicle on tractor diesel for 36 years. Is there a difference between a tractor and road diesel? Aye, about a pound a gallon. Tractor diesels dyed red, whereas road diesels white, but otherwise are exactly the same. A bit like wine. Well, if it's anything like the stuff the wife takes home from the supermarket, yes. But surely the customs and the excise must dip your tank from time to time. Aye, they're always dipping me at the mark. But I've got several tanks aboard, you see. Oh, aye. See the one there, the official one where it says diesel fuel only? Well, I've got a wee tanky welded down the spout there. We a gallon of white that I bought in 1953 for 2.11. It's getting a bit evaporated, but it keeps them happy. Now, you see that big wooden egg box in the back of the Land Rover there? How many dozen do you think it holds? Let me see, 24? 16 gallon. And there's another 10 in the tubes of the bull bar. Now, take a look at the windscreen. Do you see anything out of the ordinary there on the windscreen? No, it looks quite normal to me. Well, now, that just goes to show you how close to the current road tax desk is the McEwen's Pale Ale label. Now, Hamish, do you have any other folk arts which you could tell us about? Aye, well, I've a wee still down in the wood there, I must admit, underground. The roof's not very strong, and there was a couple of the excise standing on top of it the other day. At one point, I thought the fat fellow was going to drop in for a dram. Well, Hamish, your folk art seems to be very much alive. Next week, I'll be interviewing a crofter at Dunray who's making hip flasks out of old plutonium bottles. The only trouble is you need lead-lined trousers to use it. And it's back to the studio, and Johnny, are you there, Johnny? Well, yes, well done, Rodney. Back to the studio here at Radio Caithness, and now it's time for Radio Caithness Deserted Highland Desks. This was the programme we started during the clearances. Each week we invite a northern celebrity into the studio here and ask them to choose a record they might like to take with them if a train never broke down at Altna Break. Well, we couldn't have found a celebrity in the entire Highlands this week. Instead, we've got Colin Campbell. Now, Colin, I believe you've a new book just out entitled Colin Campbell's Local Radio Book. Yes, that's correct, John. Now, Colin, I've been doing some research with your publisher, Gordon Wright in Edinburgh, and he tells me your biggest order so far has come from the chip shop in Helmsdale. Have you any idea why you're so popular here? Well, I was very intrigued about this fact myself, John, so I took the liberty of telephoning the proprietor, Will Gunn, and he tells me the reason I'm so popular is the fact that the double-page spread is the exact size to wrap a white pudding supper. We'll break off here for your record, Colin. What have you chosen? Well, this is a new song of mine, John. It's about a part of the world I'm rather fond, and I've called it The Song of the Spey.
Oh, carry me back to the fair maid of Elgin, carry me home to Murray again, bury me deep inside of Ennigan with the song of the spey, my solace each day. I'm lonely now, wanna walk by the Lossy or down among the oak woods walks with you, sweet lassie, for the scent of the stills coming down from Strathspey, for the love left behind, for the land far away. Oh, carry me back to the fair maid of Elgin, carry me home to Murray again, bury me deep inside of Ennigan with the song of the spey, a solace each day. I'm lonely now for the sex o' hame, for the lake o' Murray is where I'll be lain. No time has o'ertaken me, my heart fails me fast, so carry me home to Murray at last. Oh, carry me back to the fair maid of Elgin, carry me home to Murray again, bury me deep inside of Ennigan with the song of the spey, a solace each day. Oh, carry me back to the fair maid of Elgin, carry me home to Murray again, bury me deep inside of Ennigan with the song of the spey, my solace each day. With the song of the spey, my solace each day.
Yes, welcome back to Radio Caithness, and now it's time for our annual ecclesiastical look back. Our annual ecclesiastical look back on the year that has gone, and looking back then this year is none other than the Reverend Callum Moon MacLeod, founder of a small breakaway religious sect on the island of Lewis, the Hebridean Moon Revivalist Church. So, let's go over now live till the microphone of Radio Back and the Reverend Callum MacLeod. Greetings, fellow mortals. Greetings and welcome. Welcome to this personal look back from back on the year that has gone. And I mean personal, because I'm not going to speak about mythical peoples in faraway, distant, exotic places like Ullapool or even Dingwall. No, I intend to speak out about myself, because I am not without sin. I don't come before you as white as the driven snow. I too have sinned, and in this look back over 1988, I intend to bear, nay, expose myself before you all. Knowing the power of the wireless, I meditated long and ardently about this broadcast. And as I meditated month by month with my 1988 transgressions, 3 words kept coming back at me. Was I right? Was I right? And so, dear friends, this is my text as I look back on the year that has gone. Was I right? In January of 1988, was I right to have sold my old Morris 1000 to the district nurse in Aranish when I knew the gearbox was dicky? No, I was not right, especially when she couldn't get round to pare my corns. And in February, during my sermon on the flood, was I right to throw a pail of water over the congregation, even if only half of them were asleep, giving Grandpa Murchison such a fright that his pan drop shocked out. With his teeth still firmly firmly clamped round it to land in the widow MacLeod's lap. Giving her such a scare that she left the church like a hurdler across the pews. And in March, was I right to banish Hamish Cameron for dropping half-inch washers into the collection plate from a great height? Did he think I was tone deaf? No, I am not. And in April, was I right to treat the Inland Revenue with the contempt they so richly deserved by sending them the bag of washers? And on the 1st of May, May Day, when the Druids and the Hifpies came to dance naked at the standing stones of Callanish, was I right to chastise them by letting the wind out of their minibus tires and hiding their clothes? And was I right to laugh like a drain when the midges came out? No, I was not right, but oh, hearing it was funny. And in July, was I right to refuse to pay the fine imposed on me by the mobile library? This dreadful state of affairs brought about by the crass ignorance of the driver, Murdo Morrison, who, when I asked for the memoirs of a peat cutter, purposely gave me the memoirs of a complete nutter. And in the merry month of June, when I interviewed that partly deaf singer for the job of presenter of the Psalms, and when I asked him if he was a tenor, and he gave me one, was I right to keep it? And in August, was I right to chastise the gutter press for publishing that scurrilous article and a bad photograph of me, saying I had got my divinity degree through the post from America? The truth of the article I cannot deny, but putting it right next to a topless model was quite unforgivable. Was I right? No, I was beside the left. And in September, at the Harvest Thanksgiving, was I right to suggest to Donny Campbell that we give his tatties to the wee boys of the Sunday school so they could play marbles with them? And was I right to ask the widow MacLeod to carry in her own egg sponge from the car, as I had been unable to left it? She says she's cordon bleu, more like cordon bleu circle cement. And in October, when I advertised in the Stornoway Gazette for a locum lay preacher to take over for me when I went for my holidays to Fort William, and the Catholic priest from Barra applied, was I right to have refused him in such glowing language? And in November, when the frost lay so hard upon the land, was I right to have fitted in the pulpit a remote control so I could switch off the one-bar electric fire halfway through the sermon? No, I was not right, especially as Grandpa Murchison's teeth clattered so much nobody could hear me anyway. And in December, snowy month, finally, was I right to chastise the county roadmen for sanding the roads on Sunday? And was I right in trying to go left on the slidey roads and ending up in a ditch? And so, dear friends, at the beginning of another year, ask yourselves the question, are you right? And if you are, for goodness sake, give me a ring, because I seldom am. Good night. Yes, well done, Callum and MacLeod there. And now it's time to go away tooth till we're sister radio station in Edinburgh, and Moira McLaughlin at Radio Morningside. Are you here, Moira? Oh, hello. Good morning. Well, it's a marvellous, absolutely marvellous morning here in Morningside in Aldreekie. But we're going straight into an interview because a very unusual chappie has just breezed into the studio. He claims to be the new managing director of Scottish and Newcastle breweries. Would you like to say a few words to our very refined listeners, sir? Good day, Sheila. Me jumbucks in me tucker bag. How's about you and me slipping down the old billabong for a few schooners of the Ambonecta, Sheila? Oh, later, Bruce, maybe. You're an awfully impatient, aggressive wee man, so you are. Later, maybe. In the meantime, would you mind keeping your hands off my mohair for a minute? And your breath has steamed up my Cairn Gorm, look. Sorry, Sheila. It's force of habit. We just can't seem to keep our hands off anything these days. Now, Bruce, if we could get on with the interview, what do you intend to do with the existing management at Scottish and Newcastle? Well, Sheila, in the poetic and compassionate words of our illustrious chairman, we couldn't give a 4X for them, Sheila. I'll tell you something else, Sheila. Ponton's holiday camp won't save them. I intend to turn half of them into red coats and send them up to Culloden as guides. Oh, Bruce, but won't that upset the clans a bit, sending red coats to Culloden? That's a general idea, Sheila. And what do you intend to do with the other half of the management? They'll be shearing merinos before the week's out, Sheila. Now, Sheila, let's hit for the schooners, eh? You and me down the old billabong. This is Moira McLaughlin handing back to Radio Caithness in a wee bit of a hurry. Well... yeah. Yes, watch your sail there, down there, Moira. We worry about you on a network. They're pretty dangerous, actually, from down under. Now, we have a songy spinning on a turntable for you. Brand new little songy. Written and sung on this recording by a failed nuclear waste disposal contractor, Colin Campbell, who recently won the contract to bury all this Nyrex rubbish in a pipe bog at Dalnawellan. But the handle of his shuffle became too hot to handle. The wee song is called Let Me Show You the Highlands, and the way things are going, you'll be able to see it in the dark.
Let me show you the Highlands, my sweet Lord and Belle. Let me show you my homeland, my story I'll tell. I'll show you with pride, love, let the land cast its spell. Let me show you the Highlands, my sweet Lord and Belle. colour o' the sea? Is it blue or green, love, as it sweeps to Tyree? And this is Loch Duin, and this is Loch Long, with the sound of sleet, love, and the Cullens beyond. I can tell by your face, love, and the light in your eyes, that you love Ben the Conneoch, the old lady of Skye. And away to the northward, and this is Cape Rod, and here is Ben Lyon, and 100 wee straths. Oh, tell me, sweet lassie, do you think you could stay where the broad moors of Caithness sweep down to the bay? Let me show you the Highlands, my sweet Lolland Belle. Let me show you my homeland, my story I'll tell. I'd show you with pride, love, let the land cast its spell. Let me show you the Highlands, my sweet Lolland Belle. Let me show you the Highlands, my sweet Lowland Belle.
Mercy and welcome back to Radio Achnagat. Sunday Cowie here, chavin and keeping on air through the day and swinging Radio Achnagat. And now it's time for another episode of the Campbell's of Slack Tucket. An everyday story of Buchan Fairman folk. The story so far, young Wally, the son of the house, has gone to a farmers' meeting in the new hotel complex at Ellen. His father is waiting for him by the fire. He returns home late to the mains of Slack Tucket. The Campbell's, an everyday story of Buchan Fairman folk.
Hi, Dad. Bit like?
Is that you, Wally? Your mother's absolutely furious with you. You'll hate to stop stripping down tractor engines in the front room. She took the minister in there in the act. He tripped out a set of pistons for the Fords in and fell for it into a bath of Bursonile. I never knew the man could speak like that.
Was he still half fight like an angel when he got up, Dad?
Dinna you be cheeky, Wally, or I'll cut off your subscription to the Beano. What was the farmers' meeting about in Ellen, Wally?
Postnatal depression in the hell yow, Dad. Ken the lad from the college? He's got a string of letters after his name. He says if the yows didn't get the right nutrition, vitamins and that at the lambing time, they get awful depressed.
Yon man's a neep. Nutrition, my beat. If he had just dropped it 12 lambs in horizontal sleet on the braes of Slack Tucket in March, he would be bloody depressed as well. What's the new hotel complex like in Ellen, Wally?
It's all right, Dad. There's Queenies wandering about in uniform saying, "How may I help you?" And when you ask them, they haven't a damn clue.
I see you've met them as well.
Now, then there's all the different conference suites, Dad. The farmers' meeting, it was held appropriately enough, I thought, in the official receiver suite. Then round in the midden cocktail lounge, the Buchan Institute, a Chartered Accountant Supper Club, were hearing a talk on decimalisation. The late young crowd apart from their bells. No, Wally. What have you done with the cheque you got for the Stots in Maud Mart 3 weeks syne? Oh, I was wondering when you were going to get round to that, Dad. I met the new yuppie farmer, him who's up from the south and who's bought the farm of the bogs of rancid muck that day. And he says he invests in futures, and he's bought a new Porsche with the proceeds. Oh, and what the hell's he needing a new Porsche for? There's a good enough house in the bogs of rancid muck already. I hope you didn't take his advice and invest your money in futures, damned white settlers. Take it easy, mind, Dad. Settlers are supposed to bring express relief. I invested in cocoa tin and rubber. We are an offshore merchant bank in Gibraltar. Oh, give me strength. I dinna like cocoa. The machinery's all tin and our cheques are made with rubber. Who are you getting on with faking up the Aberdeen Angus bull? For the pedigree sale in Aberdeen, will I? Nay, great Dad. He's half ugly. Pot belly, very narrow hips. And when his moo is open, which is most of the time, he looks remarkably like our district councillor. Could you nae think up a classy kind of a name for him, will I? Something like Prince William, a Slock Docket, or something like that. A toe for a yuppie farmer might buy him by mistake for the snob value. Well, I was discussing the subject with my pals down the back bar of the Fusty Neep Twa next sign, Dad. Ken the barman here, Wally? Ken he's on the dole, but he works here steady. Oh, I ken him a recht crooked neep. Puts his ain drink from the cash and carry on the rock after 10. He's making more money than the management. I thought you told me he'd gone away to Tenerife with his ill-gotten gains. No, Dad, you picked me up wrong. He was away to Tara Reef, somewhere by Achnagat. Well, he says, Dad, if we couldn't sell the bull at the bull sale, to say he's quiet with bairns, clap a saddle on him and try him at the horse sale next door. What a cheek. Here, Dad, ken on old money who sits away at the back of the bar all by himself, drinking whiskey with a pot belly and a collie dog? No, I ken him. Oh, you ken him fine, Dad. It's him who can spit in the fire from 30 feet. Oh, aye, all joke. Oh, he's nae that accurate, though. I've seen him firing short afore now. Mine last hug me knee. Mind he'd enough a binner in him. Mind he made a hell of a mess of the yuppies, gin and tonics. Oh. Aye, Dad, well, he says, Dad, we're moo yon size. We shouldn't sell the bull at all. We should just let him stand for the council. He'd get in, nae bother. And more from the Campbells of Slacktarget next week, and we have a wee bit of a song spinning on the turntable for you. Brand new song written and sung in this recording by a failed cattle dealer from Huntly, Colin Campbell, who misheard the Radio Achnagat news item about the crash on the stock market. He thought there was a crash in the stock market, and he loped from a first floor window of the mart, right into the midden. Well, here he is with a wee songy, very romantic little ballad called The Lass of Suey Hill.
I didn't sleep too well last night. In fitful dreams I held you tight. I saw you there on Suey Hill. You took my hand by Gaddy Mill. I held you close and closer still, till morning came on Suey Hill. I didn't work too well today. In fleeting dreams I held you say, I'll come and bide, be at your side, to hold you close and be your guide, to take your hand by Gaddy Mill, and be forever yours on Suey Hill. I can't see forward till tomorrow, my eyes see only mists of sorrow. Fleeting dreams of you are fine, but dreams will never make you mine. My restless soul will never still, till you are mine on Suey Hill. And then you came so kind and gentle, my life soon shed its somber mantle. Restless mind and fleeting dreams are gone forever, now love gleams. My cup you took, my cup you filled, now you are mine on Suey Hill. My cup you took, my cup you filled, now you are mine on Suey Hill.
May I say I knew it's a what radio back on the island of Lewis and Torquil Jai MacLeod. Are you there, Torquil? Well, hello, Maha. And welcome back to back. And first, an urgent police message. If the person who took my grey suit jacket from the dance in Ballinavianic Hall on Friday night likes it, he can have the trousers for a tenner. And now the news, the local news here at the Radio Back. The report we carried yesterday that there's been a military coup on the island of St. Kilda has been confirmed. She's a hand-milking shorthorn belonging to the army. Following the disastrous drowning of the Department of Agriculture bull, the entertainer in the Sound of Waterhay while swimming between jobs, the department have issued the following standing orders for all bulls. 1. All bulls must have a swimming certificate from Butlins of Ayr. 2. All herdsmen must have a mouth big enough to administer the kiss of life. 3. The practice of putting flippers on the bull so we can overtake the car ferry is banned. And 4. In the event of the herdsman being drunk, then the bull shall take the tiller and the herdsman will swim behind. And now it's time for our financial affairs programme here at Radio Bach, and following the recent changes in DHSS regulations, we would have a lot of inquiries from our rural listeners as to how these affect their particular circumstances. And so the financial team here at Radio Bach, with the help of our new peat-fired computer, Tati, we've had a look at the plethora of rules, and here are our findings. And you'll need a bit of paper and a pencil for this one, listeners, because it's very complicated and very mathematical. So here we go. If you're a part-time crofter weaver lobster fisherman with a new bungalow, a Ford Granada, 100 ewes, a milking cow, a lobster boat, a Ferguson tractor, and a part-time job on a salmon farm, and you haven't been caught, then you may still apply for benefit, provided you meet the following criteria. A. If your cow is only milking on 3 teats, then you may apply for enough DHSS milk tokens to make up for the one that's not working. If your fine mesh net or .303 rifle have been confiscated, following a recent unfair conviction for poaching. Then you can apply for the DHSS deep freeze top-up allowance. If you've been gillying for a foreign sportsman and he's been tipping you in either brandy, schnapps or vodka, then you may still apply, provided you can still see to fill in the form. And finally, if your total income from the croft, including the sale of lambs, calves, lobsters and Harris tweed, and including the cow subsidy, the sheep subsidy, the island transport subsidy and the married woman's allowance, plus your wages from the salmon farm, if all this adds up to less than the stipend of a top Church of Scotland minister, then you may still apply for benefit, but you must use the special DHSS form MFO/R. That's money for old rope. And now it's time to go back to Radio Caithness. And Johnny, are you there, John? Well, yes, welcome back here to Radio Caithness. And it's just about time to wind it up here for today on Swing on Radio Caithness. But it's time now for another episode of our serial story. We're book at bedtime. She has never been kissed more than twice in the same place. By Johnny Paulson. The story so far, you'll mind that the lovely Chessie Budge is being chased over the Campster Moor. Chased over the Campster Moor by her over-ardent boyfriend, the Ajan Willag Sutherland. Willag has been courting Chessie for 34 years, and although she has netted for him 34 fair isle jerseys, he has never actually popped the all-important question. And through all these years of the courtship, Chessie has pleaded with Willag to tie the knot. But Willag refuses point blank to go anywhere near a hospital. And so till episode 6 of S. gripping novel. Chessie was in a dreadful dilemma. As she stood on a swollen bank so a weak river, would she dive in and risk drowning, or would she stay and face a fate worse than death? She looked over her shoulder, and she saw the wicked Willag coming rampanting through a heather. Pausing only to take a whiff from his inhaler, His pursuit was relentless. She made a snap decision, based mainly on her elastic, which she realised could not take much more punishment from Willag. She dived in, and as she battled with the peaty waters, how she thanked her lucky stars for her youth opportunity training programme as a swimming attendant at the Dounreay Atomic Pool. She still wondered how she got into the youth training programme, and her nearly 51. She also worried about how they heated the water, and why she didn't need a reading light at nights. She pulled herself safely on till a far bank. Willag blundered onto the riverside like a wounded stag. He leapt blindly and landed astride an abandoned pram. Tears welled up in his eyes. For a second time that day. And as he sat astride the pram, his early childhood flashed before his tear-filled eyes. He had been a late developer all his life, and he had spent his first 9 years in a pram. The only reason he ever learnt to walk was that the bottom of a pram roosted through, and he fell onto the ground. His thoughts for Chasey soon shook him out of his misery, and he leapt into the water. His feet got tangled into something, and then his arms got whipped up as well. He was held fast, his head just above the water. Something slapped him hard across the face, and then again. Was Chasey still in the river? With a sinking feeling, he realised he was trapped in the poaching net, which he himself had set that very morning, and ironically, he was being slapped by a salmon. Also trapped by the gals. Horrible thoughts began to permeate his mind as he fought to try and release himself. But it was no use. Wellag regarded himself as a sport and kind of a poacher. But what of his neighbour, the dreaded Black Chalk from Blensery, came down in the dark with some of his hellish equipment? The 12-foot barbed gaff. A cocoa tin fell with Simag gas. This takes the oxygen out of the water. His inhaler would be no use then. Or, oh horrors, the twin sticks o' Chelignite. Wellag wouldn't even get buried. Black Chalk had no mercy. He would be hanging up in Chalk's smoking room. He would be hanging up in Chalk's smoking room within the hour. He was terrified. He bawled out, "Chasey! Oh, Chasey, I'm stuck." Upon hearing the wheel Kent distress wheel, Chasey stopped in her tracks. In a heather, she never knew with Wellag whether he was playing games or no, but deep down she loved him, and she immediately ran back till the riverside. She came up just behind Black Chalk. Wellag bawled, "Give him a shove, Chasey. He's leicht on a chelly." She never hesitated. Black Chalk half turned before he hit the water. It was then she realised he was only leicht in his pipe. There was a slight hiss as the peaty waters came into contact with the red embers of a boggy roll. Black Chalk quoted something bad from the Bible as he went under. "Sweet Chasey, I have a proposal for ye," wailed Wellag, his cheeks on fire. Her heart rose. "What is it, sweet William?" she crooned. "Pull me out of here." "I'm being slapped continually. It's like a wheat Saturday night in the back of a Aston Wee." She pulled in a net and landed 18 grills on her loved one. She was concerned about Black Chalk. She saw him floundering in the middle of a river. She shouted, "Well, save Black Chalk." But Wellag was already on his feet throwing stones in the general direction of the swimmer. "Well, what are ye doing?" she cried. "It's all right, Chasey. I'm only trying to guide him till the bank." Chasey whipped off what was left of her frocky and threw an end to Black Chalk, who grabbed it and was soon lying gasping on a bank. "Give him a kiss of life, Well." "Oh, well, no, I'll get a nicotine poisoning." And he made a grab for Chasey, but she was supple and swack. And as she wriggled free, she inadvertently squeezed his inhaler. Temporarily blinding him. And no knowing where he was, he fell on top of Black Chalk and gave him a kiss of life. He said, "Chasey, I never knew ye chewed tobacco." Black Chalk sat bolt upright and slapped Wellag, who thought, "Chasey's hands are getting awful rough. She's working too hard. I'll have to carry in her pates for her." His eyes began to clear, and he saw a blurred image before him. He bawled out, "Oh, Chasey, you've got a stubble." Upon hearing these alarming words, Chasey stopped dead in her tracks in the heather and quickly felt her cheeks. She worried constantly about what the atomic waters were doing to her hormones. She was in a dreadful dilemma. Would she keep running, or would she go back and face a fate worse than death? Don't forget, folkies, to listen till next week's exciting episode. We have a wee song. Yes, we have a wee song. It'll wind her up here for you. Swinging on a turntable. Written and sung on this recording by a field accordionist, Colin Campbell, who was fined £30 recently at Elgin Sheriff Court for trying to break into the music business. A thoughtful little song, eh? And it's called "Time Is But a Sigh."
I have heard the mountains crying when the north wind howls our way, and I've seen the heather dying on the hills above the Spey. So take my hand, sweet darling, and don't let time slip by. Unlike the timeless mountains, our time is but a sigh. I have seen the birch woods turning on the hills above the Spey, and the golden leaves were falling like all our passing days. So take my hand, sweet darling, and don't let time slip by. Unlike the golden birch woods, our time is but a sigh. So stay with me, sweet darling, in the valley of the Spey, and hold my hand so tightly every passing day. And we'll see the golden birch woods and hear the mountains cry, and treasure every moment, for our time is but a sigh. And treasure every moment, for our time is but a sigh.
Thanks for listening. You've been a great audience. Good night.